Good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me, for the leadership of CCC, the staff, Zhang, Abby, Hoy, everybody. I really appreciate it. What I want to do this morning is talk from a short piece that I wrote for this commemoration, and it's called Working in Community, Making Art Work. And what I want to do is just for this brief excerpt, think about the way that Stella's work, Summer's work, the CCC commissioned and engaged artists' work communicates with communities. And I'll try to be brief so that we can get to the conversation thereafter. So, inspired by the CCC's full commitment to artistic citizenship, what I want to do is briefly communicate and consider the importance of the community center / cultural center and its import to San Francisco, a city of many constituencies set upon establishing their belonging here. Cultural and community centers are born out of necessity, from desire to be seen, heard, and involved with others. Their founding is informed equally by lofty ideals and political realities. Wherever they are found, community centers, these brick and mortar facilities, started out as physical markers of intentional, purpose-driven, sociocultural organization. Yet centers generally start informally, long before existing buildings are deeded to stakeholders. Closer? Okay. I hear a hum, so. Where was I? Yet centers generally start informally, long before existing buildings are deeded to stakeholders or ground is broken to raise a new structure. Community pillars often open their homes or workplaces to others. Public civic spaces, even contested ones, are also originary sites. The centers are themselves commercial resources that can generate revenue through event rentals and long-term leases that cover center staff salaries, building maintenance, and develop public programming. Individual donors, as well as government and corporate sponsors, are often part of the funding formula. Any publicly declared and acknowledged investment, time, monetary, goods in kind, those kind of things in a center, shapes public perception of donors and indebtedness to them. Even when elected or appointed citizens serve on centers' boards of advisors and trustees, ownership is shared among parties who realize that it sits within a complex matrix of undertakings. If artivism, which is a new term, has gained traction among artists who fully embrace activism as an aspect of praxis, it is due in part to the models of outreach and engagement established by centers whose missions are to curate exhibitions and other programs that are relevant and useful to communities. And I want us to think about communities in a very plural sense, as well as in the uppercase C and lowercase c. Reception is a deep concern for cultural and community center administrators, and audiences know it as well. Active community participation in the organization of exhibitions is not uncommon. It runs the gamut from focus group interviews to get reaction to planned projects and to collaborative involvement in making of actual artworks. Galleries and museums, grand and modest, have always been venues where the form and subject matter of art provokes thinking, pleasure, or disgust that we can express to someone else. That is, the art object is a mediating thing, carrying ideas and raising issues that can be contended with in exhibition spaces, perhaps the most genial of public spheres. Still, art programs at community centers dedicated to historically disenfranchised and underserved populations are special cases. Displays of cultural production by artists from U.S. minority groups or from non-Western countries invite debate about traditions and spawn argument about trans-historical styles. Exhibition visitors, community insiders, and those from outside alike are primed to see authentic difference in these galleries and perceiving in its absence, some wonder why they came at all. In closing, I want to say that the polity of difference is a vexed issue that cultural centers are well positioned to address, because the very existence of these cultural centers signposts the collective histories of arrival and settlement, and in more than a few cases, subsequent displacement from this cosmopolitan city on Ohlone land, that is San Francisco. Belonging is a multivalent experience, best expressed in polyvocal terms that centers, especially when working as partners, communities can facilitate and advance through art and cultural programming. Such efforts strike a new chord with anyone skeptical of managed multiculturalism that pits communities against each other. Thank you.